Okay, somebody tell me, why is Astral still in the game? I honestly couldn't believe that it would survive the mid-set, but hey, here we are, and at least it got reworked. Since the entire trade works completely different now, let me break it down for you, and by the end of this video, you will be capable of abusing Astral to its utmost limit. But just before we get started, these videos do take a good chunk of work, so why not support the channel by subscribing and staying up to date with all the cool mechanics that TFT has to offer. Now let's get to work. This is what the new Astral trait looks like. After each player combat, gain an Astral Orb. The total star level of your Astral Champion increases the orb quality. Astral Champion, gain bonus ability power. Now this might sound confusing at first glance, so let's just simplify things. You should think of Astral as two different traits. The first one is a simple AP steroid for all of your Astral units. The second one is the juicy loot orb mechanic. A common misconception is that the quality of your orbs will increase by going deeper into the trait. This is not the case. Activating the 5 or 8 Astral trait only exists to give you more AP for your Astral units and nothing else. So depending on how much you commit on the trait, your Astral units will receive either 5, 30 or 75 AP during combat. The second and more important part is the loot orb mechanic. You can think of this mechanic as a switch. If you flip it by activating the Astral trait in any way, you will receive loot orbs after facing a player in combat. The loot in these Astral orbs can differ in quality, but like I mentioned before, it's not about going deep into the trait, instead it's about the star level of your units. You can think of every Astral unit giving points to an invisible counter. Every 1-star unit adds 1 point, every 2-star unit adds 2 points, and therefore every 3-star unit will add 3 points. This point system is not unique, meaning you can place duplicate Astral units to increase your total points for a better reward. This point system works for all of your Astral units, including Aurelion Soul, but keep in mind though, even though he is a dragon, he will only add the same amount of points to the counter as something like a Nidalee would. Now let's take a look at the loot table. When you first activate the Astral trait, you start out in the lowest tier. Here the orb will just contain units like Nidalee, Skarner, Vladimir or Lux, but it's also possible to just straight up receive 1 or 2 gold. To increase the quality of your orbs, you need to reach a specific threshold for your Astral counter. On the current patch 12.17, these thresholds stand at 7, 10, 13 and 15 plus Astral points. Knowing the different outcomes can make a difference in your game, so I will briefly go over them since it's important to have a general idea on which thresholds you should be aiming for. But if you're just looking for a picture where everything is listed, I put one in the description of this video. The first improved orb happens at the 7 to 9 threshold, and it's very useful in the early game. Especially receiving 2 tier 1 units like Vladimir and Nidalee is a great outcome because it's much easier to hit your upgrades for stage 2. If you end up getting really lucky with units, you can even aim to 3-star your Astral units and go for even better loot orbs. The second improved orb opens up when you have a total of 10 Astral points. You will gain more gold, and this is the first time you can receive item components. Something important to note for this threshold is that you cannot receive any more Vladimir, Skarner or Nidalees. This is a great loot orb to aim for in stage 3, just to collect a few item components before you end up replacing Astral with a stronger board. Honestly, there's not much to say about the next orb. You can't receive any more units, instead you have guaranteed gold and an increased chance for an item component, but yeah, that's pretty much it. However, once your Astral counter reaches 15, you will receive the best orb in the game. At this point, it doesn't matter if you go beyond 15, it will always be the same outcome. You can receive 8 gold, 10 gold, a full item, an item component with 4 gold, or you get the Aurelion Soul. If you're wondering about legendary odds, they don't matter here. It is possible to receive an Aurelion with level 6, but just make sure you end up pinging him when you get him. Now that you know how the mechanic and the loot table works, let's look at a few examples and special cases to help you get the most out of your Astral games. In our first example, we currently have a 2-star Nidalee, Vladimir and Skarner on our board. This will put us at 6 Astral points. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this, you want to add any Astral units so you can reach 7 Astral points and you end up opening up the better loot orbs. It can be worth to level here to make this happen very early in the game, since the higher loot orbs will help you recover your economy in no time. In our next example, we have a Nidalee 3-star, Vladimir 3-star, and 2 Scanner 2-stars on our board. This puts us at 10 points, putting us in a new threshold. However, the loot table for 10 only includes Varus and Lux as unit outcomes. We can't receive any Scanners anymore, so if we want to use Astral to reach Scanner 3-star, we can remove a unit to intentionally lower us into the 7 to 9 range. So just so he can show up again. Keep in mind though, even if you have Nidalee and Vladimir 3-star, they can still show up in the Astral orbs. You will not be able to force a specific unit to show up in this scenario. In our next example, we use Double Trouble to put a 3-star Nidalee, Vladimir, and Scanner on the board together with the 2 stars we received from the augment. We now have 9 points from these 3-star units and 6 points from the 2-star units, giving us a total of 15 points. This means it is possible to already receive the best orb in stage 3, and this includes the chance for an Aurelian. In our last example, we have the augment Woodland Charm with Scanner as 3-star, together with Nidalee and Vladimir as 2-star. The Woodland copy actually ends up giving you Astral points. So in this case, our Scanner gets copied, which puts us at a total of 10 points, putting us in a higher threshold, and therefore giving us a better outcome. Obviously, there are a few more edge cases, but honestly, I think at this point, you should have the gist on how Astral works and how to properly use it. If you have any questions left, feel free to let me know in the comments. Other than that, I hope you learned something and see you next time.